Are you an indie author looking to market or promote your book? Well, you've come to the right place. What's up, guys? Dave Jacobson here, best-selling author and book publisher. And in today's video, I'm going to share with you my top 10 strategies for marketing your book as an indie author. So if that sounds good, I'm going to shrink my melon-sized head here. We're going to get right into the heart of the content of this video. As you can see here, the first thing I wanted to do is just share some of the success stories that I've had using these exact same book marketing strategies that I'm about to teach you, to give you hope and to help you know that these strategies actually work. So the first one I pulled up here is just one book that I've selected here. You can see I've got one selected book, and this book alone has already made me over $10,000 in royalties. Here's another book I created using these same marketing strategies. It's already earned me over $4,300. And then here's the last one we're going to talk about as an example. So this book earned me $4,200 in just a few weeks when I launched it, okay? So you can see that I launched this book on November 26th, and by December 16th, which is approximately 3 weeks later, I had already earned over $4,000 just from this book. That's not bad for just a few weeks, okay? So I wanted to give you a little bit more background on this book specifically for context, so that you understand when I'm talking about the book marketing strategies and using it as a use case, what I'm talking about. So this is the book right here. It's called The Hatter's Hat, okay? It's a prequel to Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, written in the style of Lewis Carroll. It's a work of fiction, but it also has a treasure hunt attached to it. If you can find the clues in this book, right, it will lead to a real world treasure worth thousands of dollars to whoever can find it. So this for me was a labor of love, okay? But it was also successful because I used the strategies that I'm about to teach you. So I'm going to shrink my melon-sized head again, and we're going to get back into it. But now you have the full context as we talk about this specific book. Okay, so the first tip that I use to help me market this book, and that you can also use to help market your books in the future, is that I created a website just dedicated to this specific book. So this is the website right here, wonderlandtreasure.com. As you can see, it's a professional website. I talk about the treasure hunt, and I talk about how you can find the treasure. All the clues are contained in the book, The Hatter's Hat, right? And then I tell people where they can actually purchase the book, right? So why is this so important? Well, going back to the Amazon listing, notice when I scroll down, right? The first thing I see is a bunch of competitors, right? These are other people selling similar books to mine. This one has 8,000 reviews, right? How can I compete with that? You're running the risk of people getting distracted and clicking on other books that might be better than yours, or might have, more reviews than yours or better reviews. So it's always a good idea, if you're really believing in your book as an indie author, to consider creating yourself a unique website dedicated either to your brand as an author or to a specific book or series of books, okay? In this case, it's focused on the actual treasure hunt and the book related to it, but you don't have to do it that way. Get creative, guys, okay? Now, let's say you don't know how to create a website. Well, you can go to Fiverr.com and just type in build me a website or website builder or create website, click search, and you'll see tons of people who would be more than happy to help you build your website, right? Some of them start from $80 a piece. I understand, guys, that is expensive, okay? Not all marketing strategies are free. But if you want a cheaper option, consider going to a website like Wix, okay? Wix allows you to just drag and drop and build your own website. They have a light version, which is only $17 a month. If that's still too much money for you, consider going to Weebly.com, okay? So Weebly.com allows you to create a website for free, $0 per month. So that means you have no excuse, guys, to not take advantage of this, okay? You can build a website. The next strategy I want to share with you guys that helped me market this book and helps me market all my books is to start an email newsletter early, okay? Now, this is very important, guys. I'm going to zoom out for this one because I'm going to talk for a moment about why this is so important. You as an author are a business, like it or not, okay? And the number one business asset that you own as an author, aside from your books themselves and the copyrights you own in them, the number one asset is your mailing list, Okay. So if you don't have a mailing list yet, you need to start developing it, because that is your asset, your number one asset as a author business. Imagine there was this button that you could press, okay? And every time you pressed it, you could send thousands of people to a bookstore where your book is being launched. And you can say, hey, I'm launching my book. Send them to the bookstore to check it out. And then some people will purchase, some people won't, but you can press that button. That is the power you have with a mailing list. Of course, you're not sending people to a physical bookstore, but you can send them to Amazon or a virtual bookstore or your website whenever you launch a book, okay? So that's the number one asset. I'm going to shrink my head again, and we're going to move on. So let's say you don't have an email list yet, and you don't know how to build one. Well, this is a tool that I want to share with you called Sender.net. And Sender.net is basically an email automation platform. So what that means is they give you free email templates, and they have automation that you can set up easily. And you can create email campaigns when you launch a book, and you can send people emails using email automation. And the great thing about Sender.net is that they have a free forever plan. You know, they give you up to 2,500 subscribers and up to 15,000 emails per month for free. That's a lot of emails, guys. So definitely take advantage of this. Again, now you have no excuse to not start building your email list. The next tip I have for you is to use social media strategically. All right. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, guys. You know what social media is. I'm talking about platforms like this one, YouTube. I'm talking about Instagram. I'm talking about Facebook, TikTok. Get an author account and start using it, guys. Just choose whichever one is your favorite platform, right? YouTube is great for engagement. TikTok is good for like romance authors. It's really blowing up a lot of romance authors right now. So if that's your thing, I would recommend TikTok. Otherwise, use whatever platform you would like to use. Now we're going to talk about reviews, okay? So there's a number of ways to get reviews, guys, and I've done a video on this. I'm going to put a link in the description. I've done a number of videos on it actually in the past, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but it's very important that you get reviews. Now, I get it. It's hard to get reviews, especially if you're a brand new author. So that's why I'm going to recommend some things to you. The first thing you can do is use the method of ACRs, okay? ACR stands for Advanced Copy Reviewers or Advanced Copy Reviews, either one. And what this is a standard method used in the publishing business for traditional publishing and indie publishers to get reviews even before you launch your book. Okay, so how do you do this? You basically just reach out to people and say, hey, I'm getting ready to launch my book. I'd love if you would take a look at it and give me your honest feedback. And so those people will provide you feedback, free editing. It's great. It works for that too. But the greatest thing about it is that you can also say when you're asking for that feedback, and if you don't mind, if you would like to leave a review, that would be great as well. All the traditional publishers do this, right? This is not something I'm pulling out of thin air. If you go into a bookstore like Barnes & Noble, you'll notice that books, as soon as they're hot off the press, when they first get released, they already have reviewers, right? They're using the strategy of advanced copy reviewers, right? You can do that too. Find a list of friends, people you know, people you respect their opinion about writing. Build a small list of 5 to 10 people. You don't need much, and start getting advanced copy reviewers. So that's the first free and best strategy. The next strategy I'm going to teach you for getting reviews is you can consider using these review sites. So this is one of the most popular ones called Puppy.co. I'm sure you've probably heard about it, but basically the way this works is you add your books, you upload your books, you earn snaps by giving other authors reviews on their books, and then once you have those snaps, you can trade them in as currency to get other people to review your books. The next strategy I have for helping you to promote your book is to optimize your book metadata, okay? So what do I mean by that? Well, when you create a book, right, you have to enter data like title, subtitle, and of course, description. Metadata has to be optimized, guys, and the better you optimize it, the more book sales you're going to make. So this is a great marketing strategy because it's free, right? All you have to do is spend the time in editing and tweaking your metadata. This is going to tell the algorithm who it should be showing your book to, guys. So there's nothing more important than this, especially if you're using Amazon to sell your books. Now, the next tip I have for you is to consider using a professional to help you get a perfect book cover. So this is a tool you can use, Fiverr.com, if you don't know how to create book covers yourself. A book cover is your most valuable marketing tool as an author. What do I mean by that? Well, imagine being able to get 100 people to your listing page on Amazon. If your book cover sucks, nobody's going to buy it. If your book cover is great, 5 to 10 people are going to buy it. I created a whole video on how to use AI to create professional book covers literally in seconds, guys. So there's no excuse to not have a good book cover. Check out that video if you're still struggling with that. All right, so my next tip for you is to run targeted ads, right? So one of the greatest tools available for anyone who's on Amazon KDP is their ads program. Now it's competitive, but if you have a good book cover and you've got a strong metadata, like your description's good and everything else is good, there's no reason you cannot sell books using Amazon ads. So the way you would do that is you click on marketing and you scroll down and then you come to the ad section and you choose your marketplace. You can do Amazon.com, Amazon.co.uk, etc., etc. Once you choose your marketplace, you click go to Amazon ads and it's so easy to create ads. Guys, I'm going to do a whole video dedicated to the power of ads. When people go to Amazon, unlike when they go to Google, they're going there to shop. They're going there to buy things, right? So what better place to advertise your book than on Amazon's website? The conversion rates are through the roof. So do this if you're not doing it already. My next tip for you is to consider collaborating with other authors, okay? So what do I mean by that? Well, let's say you've written a book in the treasure hunting space. Reach out to someone like me, right? I'm an author in the treasure hunting community. Or let's say you wrote a book on how to sew sweaters. Reach out to another author who has books in the how to sew sweater space and say, hey, I've got a list of 100 people in my email list who love books about sewing. You've got people in your list. Let's collaborate, right? I'll do an email blast promoting your book. You do an email blast promoting my book, right? This is a very successful way to get off the ground, especially if you don't have a huge audience yet. But if you have a big audience, then you have more bargaining power to leverage during those negotiations, right? My next tip for you is to consider collaborating with other social media influencers who already have platforms, okay? So going back to this book again, and I can show you the data again on the book launch. This was a huge success from a book launch perspective. And one of the things that I did with this particular book is I reached out to other influencers and I said, hey, you've got an audience who's interested in Alice's Adventures in Wonderland, or you have an audience who's interested in treasure hunts. I'm publishing a book that has a treasure hunt in it. Would you consider doing an interview, or would you consider promoting this or talking about it? People would love to help you guys because influencers have to create content for their audience, right? It's how they get paid. So if you have something within that niche, more than likely, if you try a little bit, you're going to be able to connect with somebody who's willing to help you promote your book. Okay, so now I want to share with you my favorite tip that I've saved until the end of this video to reward you for watching it all the way through, okay? So I'm going to shrink my head one more time, and this is one of the most powerful tools that no one else is ever talking about. Go to prweb.com and use a press release. So find an angle for your book. And this is, again, one of the reasons this book was successful is I had a newsworthy angle to it. Because there was a treasure hunt attached to it, it was newsworthy, right? So I used that as an angle. I created a press release, and guess what? That press release was picked up by ABC News. And so when I launched my book, I had a ton of people all of a sudden coming to my website. I remember waking up one morning and seeing 26 orders, not on Amazon, but on my website because I was selling it on my website at that time. Yeah, guys, that's a huge, huge tip for promoting and marketing your book. If you got value out of this, please consider liking and subscribing, and I'll see you next time.